Dun 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 dun. Episode 7, talking about dating, where we meet the crazy people. Welcome, welcome everybody to
Well,
the Chrysalis Show.
All right, that's the vibe that's in her head, folks. Buckle up. It's going to be one of those days.
buckle up, Buttercup.
Buckle up, Buttercup. This is episode 7, and we're talking about where we meet people to date, such as dating apps. What do you like about them? What's not to like about them? And all in between. So grab your seatbelt, grab your snackies,
Go ahead, Amber.
grab your stizzies.
There it is. And the first unsolicited pimping of the night goes to Amber. Not because she hates Baked Bros, but because they haven't seen the episode yet. And we'll go back and forth to see who gives us money first.
Exactly. Or t-shirts. I love t-shirts.
My t-shirt is the best. Thank you very much.
His t-shirt is the best. Yes.
I just want to say that I give Stizzy and Baked Bros a 10 out of 5 stars.
There you go.
My life right.
That, all right, Miss Jackson, you won. That works. I can't.
Yes,
nobody can
Amber
top that.
is proving why 5 out of 4 people struggle with math.
With math, yeah.
No, Baked Bros and Stizzies is helping me with that. Just saying. I love it. I support, like we just said, I am an avid 420 smoker. Obviously, I think everybody should have weed in their life, consume it one way or another, because there's so many options, and every other month they're coming out with something new. Nobody's sitting here saying be a damn pothead all day, like use it wisely. I used to be a pothead all day, but I was in a situation where I was able to. But now I'm an adult. I know how to work it in when I need to. But
wait, when did you become an adult? Wait a minute, when did that happen?
I don't know. I woke up one day.
Hey.
I woke up one day.
Where did these kids come from?
Hey.
This is what my parents been talking about. This is what this shit is. I want to go back.
It's overrated.
But it comes with stizzies. So it's an equal trade.
It's a trade-off.
It makes it tolerable and fun. If you get the right one. You want to sleep? Indica. You want to have some fun? Grab your sativa. You want to be balanced? Grab your ivory. Oh yeah, that's what I like to ride life.
With so many strands. No, seriously though, with so many strands.
Oh yeah,
there is a strand that is right.
Gummies, and you can smoke it, you can eat it, you can drink it, you can rub it on you, like you can tincture it. There's so many ways to take it.
Oh my gosh. Why, as you're saying that, Amber, I'm thinking, we have to do like a commercial. You know how like on Forrest Gump, and they talked about the shrimp, and you could do the shrimp.
There's weed soup, weed salad, weed brownies, there's weed macaroni, there's weed hair conditioner. Not that I know.
You got the drinks, you got the sodas, you got the gummies, you got the brownies. Yeah, absolutely.
What you
do that? Hey, little man.
Have it your way. Hey.
But absolutely. So let's get into it, guys, and let's talk about this whole dating thing. This is gonna be interesting because I don't know how I feel about it. So we're all gonna be surprised what comes out of my mouth tonight. Whatever the truth is that I honestly feel come out. And let me just say now. Like, I don't want anybody to take offense to what I say. I just speak my truth, what it is. I'm not trying to. I'm not trying. No, I'm not trying to offend anybody. I just speak from my perspective of anything. That's all we can do. And you guys know, I'm open and to listen to everybody's perspective. Like, if you show me something different, I may just fucking run with it because maybe I was just dumb in that area. I don't fucking know. I'm here learning just like everybody else. So whatever I say, just take me seriously, but don't.
So basically what you're saying is validate the fact that that's your opinion, but don't necessarily make it gospel for everybody else.
Exactly.
You mean be a human? Okay, got it. Great. So
I'm gonna try that because I'm not.
You might want to. You might want to give it a go.
I'm gonna try to be a human tonight and see what happens.
Oh, this should go well. So let's start then. Let's start then with this. First and foremost, we want to encourage everybody to, if you haven't seen the previous 2 episodes, we really want to encourage you to do that. Not just because it gets us likes or views, but because the material we're talking about tonight is really based on having done some very good conversations about leading up to dating. So we're going to assume for the duration of this episode that you've watched those. If you haven't, go. We'll wait. Great, you're back. Fantastic. Let's start with and now you understand why we joked about Bake Bros.
One day, and I can't. My daughter, right? She was reading some book for school, and I always tell her like read the audiobook, but like she could read the audiobook, but she has to read the book too. So the audiobook's reading, she's reading along with the audiobook because it just really helps with fluency and all that. Well, I come to find out she's listening to audio on point light speed. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm sitting there with the pages. I'm like, what are you doing?
Not wasting time, mother.
Gosh.
I'm like, what? Like, what do you can't tell me you're reading like that. So yes, if you watched our Chrysalis episodes like that, please go back.
Yeah,
don't put us on fast forward.
Yes.
No, if you put us on fast forward, you're gonna miss some great shit that comes out of our mouths.
You will.
All right. So let's start with this then. Let's ask first and foremost, what dating apps have you used? So let's start with Amber. Have you used any of the dating apps at this point?
Okay, so I call myself an alien.
You didn't know it was coming to you first.
I call myself an alien and not of this world for a lot of reasons, but in this particular case, I used it because when it comes to dating, I really am an alien. I am that weird girl who doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, right? So I've tried dating apps. I've gotten as far as signing up for them and then scrolling through, and that was that. And the most recent one I was active on was Facebook dating app. And I think it was just because I just felt a little comfortable. It just seems like Facebook. It's just another Facebook,
Right.
And I mean, I talked to a couple people. One guy I'm actually like, we're cool. Like I talked to him and whatnot. But I don't. Dating apps are weird. I don't know. So I can't say I've used them. I like actually utilized it. No, I don't know. Like I say, I upload my picture, I scroll, I see weirdos, and I'm like, you don't even read anything, and then I'm like overloaded with these messages, like not to toot my own horn, but it's just like they come flocking in like there's a broken pipe somewhere or something. Like, did you even take 2 seconds to look at my profile and read? Because what you're telling me right now is nothing of what I just said. And make it make sense. I'm gonna go call back at my spaceship now and pass it to Jillian because that's my
Hey, Jillian, follow that.
Say, well, damn, Amber, thank you for making me feel like the old cougar of online dating. Because unlike Amber, okay, I've had my fair share of experience with online dating. And I have tried a variety of dating sites. Everything from Match to Facebook dating to what else have I tried? Oh my gosh.
You need to look at your phone's history and find out.
I do. No, because it was Match. Oh, it was Match, Facebook dating, then it was like Elite Singles. Was that Elite Singles? It was Elite Singles.
That sounds like a sugar daddy site.
I didn't know that, but as it turns out, yes, it is a sugar daddy. Did not know that. So that's
I've tried a sugar daddy.
We gotta talk about that.
It's a bunch of old white creepy men. No offense, like, but it is.
eHarmony. I tried eHarmony. And there was another free site. Shit, was it Zeuska thing? Was it may not have been. So if somebody goes and says she was never a member of Zeus, I think it was Zeus.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Zeus is an online dating site now to find your perfect match.
So clearly
she said, I don't know about that.
But that worked for me. So, and I will say this, and we can go back and talk about this and circle back, but as someone who met their husband on Match, and I know that online dating sites can be successful. They really can. Mm-hmm. But you have to be willing to sift through the shit. I mean, seriously, it is. And it's funny because they've changed a lot. I will say that like really quick. Like I can remember when I first met my husband, the biggest issue that I had was people posting pictures that were like 10 years ago or 15 years ago. They didn't look like them anymore. Now it's scammers. It's so many other like different things that you have to worry about with online dating. But yeah, it's daunting. I hate to say like online dating is not for the faint-hearted, but no, it really isn't, because it just makes you wonder like how many good people are left out there, and I don't know why online dating has become so crazy. I don't know if it's because we're just becoming you hear it all the time, the swipe left generation, where we're constantly swiping. I don't know. We're just so visual. And that was the thing, to go back with what Amber said. Yeah, I'm not on any online dating sites currently. I'm just not. But when I was, it was just like, yeah, my inbox would get flooded too with like a lot of different things. And I'm just like, did y'all even read my profile? Like, for real. Because if you read my profile, you wouldn't be coming at me the way that you're coming at me, number one. Number two, okay, if I say specifically, and yeah, I am very like, when I was on the online dating sites, I had a height requirement, and that was because I'm 5'10", so the height requirement was like 6'2", right? That was the thing, because my husband was 6'6". I'm just used to taller men, so
must be this tall to ride. Anyways, please continue.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh, I love that, Lee. Yes, this tall to ride, and that's for your own safety. No,
yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh,
do not get on this ride if you have a heart condition, if you're pregnant, if you have experience.
Definitely not if you're pregnant. You need to get out of line.
You never know. Anyways, please continue. You set up a joke for me I could not let go.
Oh my goodness, now I almost lost my train of thought. No, but then I would get some guys like, 5'8", 5'7". I'm like, did you read? Like, come on now. Or then it was what did I say? There was something else where I said I like, the outdoors. I like being out. I'm an active person. I like, whatever. And then you're going to respond to me and you're like, well, I'm kind of a laid back, stay at home type of guy. I'm like, didn't you read what I just said?
No.
Like, and then it's the whole, it almost just shows to me how superficial people are. Because really, all they do is see a face and click like without even reading. So that's one of the hardest parts about online dating, is just, meeting someone who you're truly compatible with. And it's in a very inorganic type of way. And I don't know where am I like now. I'm like, damn, where am I going with this? I think I have come to my.
I think you came to a good end for that. And then you were going to go off on a tangent, which we never do in this group. So we were going to see where that went, but it's okay. We'll forgive you this time.
First time for everything, right?
Right. In the past 5 minutes. For my part, I last year, what I thought was an urge for dating was Widow's Fire. And so I was on Bumble for a hot minute. And then I became aware of what Widow's Fire was and realized, oh, I shouldn't be on this. This isn't the place for me. I'm not. No. But I've also tried Facebook dating as well. That yielded nothing really. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll just be done for a while because I'd done them both kind of simultaneously. And then I got to thinking. Go ahead.
Sorry, Lee. No, finish what you're gonna say.
No, I can always come back to what I was saying. I can talk, sister. Please continue.
No, when you said about Widow's Fire, I almost feel like sometimes Widow's Fire should be kept as like a widowed secret, because if people know what it's like being in Widow's Fire, I feel like we're just like sitting ducks. We're just like fresh pieces of meat in a lion's den, which we could come back to.
We'll come back to it.
Thank you.
However, I then got to thinking about it, and once I was able to kind of parse out what was Widow's Fire versus anything else, I then started thinking about the fact of I started hearing other people's dating stories, and I was like, oh God, I'm not built for this. I'm not used to having to do the gymnastics that they have to do. I'm not even talking about in a bedroom. I'm just talking about personality and scheduling and just all these gymnastics to make it work. I'm like, these childbearing hips are good for moving in one direction, generally speaking. If you need me to suddenly hook a left and do a back, something's going to hurt, probably me. And so what I ended up doing was I was like, well, I'm just done. And then I got to thinking about it because my son, wanted to give up on a sport he was playing because, well, I'm just not doing well at it right away. And I said to him, nobody does well right away. You got to try and fail. And in the back of my head, there was a little voice that said, hey, dumbass, why don't you consider that for yourself? So I then went to two sites. Currently, it's Tinder and Hinge, because I figured I got to practice. I got to practice not so much dating, but putting myself out there. I got to practice handling rejection. I got to practice, seeing if there's a connection, and if there isn't, being able to step away from it. Because if not, the likelihood of me finding somebody is pretty low unless I'm practiced, for lack of a better term. And it's interesting, Jillian, as you're talking about the height requirements and the personality and the profiles, for me, if I think somebody is even remotely attractive, the first thing I then do is I go and I look at their profile. Like, let me see, what are some of your things? What are some of your requirements? What's your location? And I often chuckle when I do that, because one thing that my wife and I used to joke about was shortly after we got together, eHarmony became a very big thing. And she and I are both in psychology in college. And so I often said, I would love to see a psychological study done about if established couples, if entered into the eHarmony dating pool, if they would connect again. And I said, the reason I'm intrigued about that is because I was not my wife's type. I am, yes, I'm a 6'2", 300 pounds. I am a stout human. However, if you were to ask my wife, her type was tall and lanky. Maybe their pant size, was the same as their waist size, and leg size were the same, 32, which I don't know where the hell those people are, you lucky bastards. Anyways, so
I agree with that, because as you were saying that, though, I went back to eHarmony came out around the time that me and my children, my older two father, were together, and I had asked the same thing, like, if we got on eHarmony right now, do you think it would match us up? Because he liked Asian girls. I have like 4% fucking Asian in me. You couldn't sniff that shit out, right? And
I'm letting a lot of inappropriate jokes go right there. I've got 4% in me. You could sniff that out. Amber, my God, you were setting me up. And I'm going to get canceled from my own podcast I'm a part of because I'm an inappropriate asshole if you keep setting things up like that for me. Please continue.
But it's fun. But the same with my husband. Like I wasn't his type. So it's like how, and that leads me to another question for another podcast. So like I gotta do some research on like why do we connect with ones that we're not really attracted to?
And it's so funny, Amber and Lee, like that you say that, because even when my husband first came to the door to take me out on my first date, now when I told you in the last podcast that when I opened the door, if the words, like, this is gonna sound so messed up, but like, the phrase like got him, like if that was like a thing, the way my husband looked
oh my God,
when I opened the door, that was that look. Like he was so taken by me. And I wish that I could say the same about him, because I was just like, and I could say that now, he'd be so hurt, because I told him, for the moment I saw you, babe, yes, I knew. But the truth was, I was just like, well, he drove all the way up here, because I lived in New Jersey at the time, and he lived like right outside of DC in Maryland. I was like, well, he drove all the way up here to take me to dinner. And we've been talking for a while. No, we have been talking for a while. So it's like, I liked him. I liked him, right? And that's what I had to keep like reminding myself, is that no matter, I liked him. And it was before people weren't video. Yeah, people weren't video.
And he met the height requirement. He had all the things going for him.
He met the height. He listened. I mean, personality wise. But it's like when I met him, I was like, but then, oh my God, all it took was one dinner, or literally one car ride to dinner. And the moment like he started talking, it was just all that like great phone chemistry came out, because we started talking in April. We didn't have our first date until June 14th. So it was like all that, the moment we sat in the car, it was just like, okay, you had me. Now I guess you could say, got her, or whatever I feel so
my God, Cameron used to say that all the time. Got him. Yes. Got him. Like,
I have been known to smack some teenagers around who say that in my presence because it annoys the shit out of me. Got him. Shut up. Between that and the word yeet, I have been known to maybe tackle a few people because I'm a grumpy old man at heart.
Thank goodness I haven't heard that yet, and I better not, because I don't even like it. But but I tell you, there was when this man looked at me, there was no other term that would sum up like what except got him, because like he couldn't even hide it. And
I want to come back to that here in a little bit too, because it actually, what we're just talking about there is it's almost the antithesis of what the dating apps are right now. But I want to pause that for a moment, because I still, not just because the dating apps are everywhere and everybody's using them, but obviously they're working somehow, some way, or else they wouldn't be used. Yes, just because they may not work for me doesn't mean they're not working for others. So let's ask this question. When you have used them, what do you like about the apps? And you can't say nothing.
It's a fun interactive tool. Okay. I think it's just, just an escape from everyday life, instead of watching a dumb television show, get on there and have an empty conversation. Just
damn, an empty conversation.
And I can't say I haven't had decent conversations, but a majority of the conversations I've had with people, they've literally lasted like 3-4 boxes, because I'm that type of person. If you can't catch my attention with something said within your first 5 boxes, I have nothing to say to you. Like, you're not going to hold my attention for very long. Once again, this is why I had the disclaimer at the beginning of this show. I don't know how I'm feeling today. I am starting to become a little emotional. I'm aware of this only because next month is 2 years of Cameron being gone. So I am aware I am a little rough around the edges these days, but fuck it. I don't care. But
I think that's good though that you put that out there in that capacity, because it also helps. Because one of the things we've said about this podcast is that this is a raw, unfiltered podcast. That
yes.
Being a widowed person doesn't mean things suddenly get better and you move on. There are days where you can actively engage and everything's fine, and then 5 minutes later, a breeze came in a certain way and it reminded you of something. Suddenly, fuck, nothing's worth trying anymore. So yeah, I think it's important to realize that when we're talking about relationships, there's these feelings are very much going to be part of what goes on with this as well too.
And dating, like I've seen people all the time. I know a lot of people who have relationships from dating apps. Hell, my father had 2 of them simultaneously. Like, I don't know, but it's just
you greedy bastard! Stop hoarding everything. Share.
It's just I'm not against them. I've met some cool people off of them, and I've had an experience where I ended up somehow not in my right mind, because that's typically when I do the stupidest shit of my life. I ended up in a relationship with a paranoid who I met off of a dating app a few years back before I met my husband. And it was so bad, you guys. He broke me out in the hives. Like, he stressed me out that bad. It was just I couldn't. And but I do find them entertaining. I like to look at things in an educational way as well. And I think, Jillian, you had asked a little while ago, like, what is it about them? I think a lot of it is it's opened the doors for people to just find their instant right now, because people aren't really looking for long term. They're not, well, just to keep it short, not in the right mindset or the mind frame to actually be dating. So it's turned into, well, here, let's just go out and fuck around and do what we want to do and see what happens type. I mean, that's just my opinion. Again, that's just what I see, just based off conversations I've had. Like you said, people don't even read biographies. Like, why are you on here if you're not serious about it?
And I think, Amber, you bring up a really good point about why people are on the dating apps, and some to not taking it seriously, or some really not. And I think it's just because of like supply. I don't want to call it, but basic like supply and demand. I mean, all these dating sites, you get on dating sites and like right away you could look at over 300 people in a day. And I think that type of supply, it makes people get into some of these relationships maybe for some very superficial reasons, and it makes people leave the relationship for some very superficial reasons, because they're just so many. And I think that's one of the good things about dating in a way. And I know I said this last time, because it does put you in places that you would not normally be in. Now, when I say that, I mean, like when I met my husband, let me clarify.
Perfect transition.
Yes. In the backseat of a Volkswagen. Yes, I didn't know my hip could go that way.
But no, it puts you in places like different states. Like I met my husband. I mean, I was in central New Jersey. He was right outside of DC. Had it not been for online dating, I wasn't probably ever going to be that way at that moment, at that time. So in that respect, it does really kind of broaden your whole pool that you have to choose from. But I think the problem is it's just broadened it way too much.
Yeah, it's like going to a restaurant and they have too many options on their menu.
Exactly.
It's opened it up too much.
Or it's like, I heard once the like analogy to like a shoe store, where you go into a shoe store, right? And the people you're dating are the shoes, and you might try on a pair of shoes and be like, ooh, I really like the way these fit. So comfy. I like this. But I can't help but wonder how I'd look in those. Right. It's like, so here you have a perfectly good set of shoes that you're already wearing, but you can't help but wonder how you might look in something else or something different, and that's kind of how some people like view the dating, because there's just this vast amount of people to choose from. I mean, think about how many dating sites there are. I mean, think about it's just gotten to the point where it almost devalues like relationships because you can, or it devalues because you can just hop in and out of them so quickly.
I think it's distorted people's visions on and the realities on what it is they're really looking for. And it's almost taken away, how do I say this? It's almost taken away their ability to have their standards. Like they mix and match it. They'll move stuff around to cater to what may look good or sound good at that time. And that kind of goes along with, well, now you're in the situation you didn't want to be in because you moved your list around. You removed some things off your list. It's like having a whiteboard with all your stuff on. That's not permanent. You're taking stuff on and just adjusting it to what you want for that current moment. And I think the dating field and all these apps, and a lot of it too, unless like eHarmony, I've never been on, but they ask more questions, right? Like personality wise, what you like to do, hobbies, skills, and all that stuff. Apps don't do that. They're just like, what's your name, what's your birthday, post up some pics, and away you go. It's like taking a bunch of cut up random fruit and throwing it in a mixing bowl, and here's a fruit salad. What is all this?
It's so interesting that you said that, Amber, and I don't know how I forgot about this. When Lee asked about the dating sites that you've been on, and I guess because this wasn't a dating site, but I paid like money, and the woman told me she was giving me a deal for this matchmaking service. And in that matchmaking service, I spent maybe about 2.5 hours being interviewed, asking questions. They did background checks, they did marriage checks, they did profile, they did personality questions, they did this, they did all of these things. Membership into this dating service is discounted for women. And the woman said, and she kind of made me feel like a commodity at this point, she said, well, because you're a widow and you only have one kid, and guys like women with like, a smaller amount of children, I'm going to give you a discount. So it's only $3,500.
Oh my God.
Yes. And she goes, and that's a discount. The minimum the men start off is like $8,000. Our packages for men run from $8,000 to $11,000.
I want to let you know with certainty, no man's package is worth $8,000. Please continue.
Damn right. Have any of y'all ever seen, I'm going down a quick rabbit hole, any of y'all ever seen the movie Ted? Because
yes.
And when Ted pulls back the sheet on Tom Brady, the light is like, oh.
I can't. It's not, and it's to each his own. I just couldn't imagine. I mean, there's apps. Okay, I've paid like $20 a month or whatever, just check out for a while. But I couldn't imagine paying that much to find somebody.
But you know what, Amber, and I'm going to tell you, and this was my frame of mind at the time. Like I would never do that now, but this was, obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, but this was, after Richard passed and me trying to get back into the dating game. And honestly, just getting so tired of I don't want to say the riffraff, but just the type of people that I was meeting at the time. I mean, it was like the new dating world that I stepped into was one that I didn't recognize, nor did I like at all. So I figured, well, hell, if I pay this money for this service and I'm bound to find a match.
I wonder if two people find each other and they last for like 3 years, do they each get the money back as a couple thing, and you get like your 18 grand, your 10 grand, your 20 grand back?
Like the satisfaction of knowing that you met your person. And I can
Well,
honestly
good,
say
give us
I've
our money
gone
back
out,
or pay for a honeymoon or something. Like
and what I paid for was 8 dates. So I've gone out on 3.
so you still have dates to go on with
I
this
still have
company.
dates to go, but I told them I'm taking a break because I'm done for right now. I'm done. I still have dates to go, but I'm done. Because even with that high tech matchity match, and yeah, I went out with a lot of guys who had a lot of money, but they were assholes.
I was like, and like,
They were assholes.
what else is there? I mean, come on.
So,
and I think for me, one of the things that I appreciate about the dating apps is if I need to pull back, I can pull back with ease. I can it's not a ghosting thing. It's not that. It's one of those I can just as easily not interact. And so especially if my mental health, emotional health, whatever you want to call it, is just not feeling it that day. Like I'm like, I don't have the energy to engage in this. I can step back. And I turned off like all notifications because I'm like I'm like, I don't want you blowing up my phone. I'll check it when I can check it. Whenever you're important enough that I'll turn on your notification. That's when you matter to me. And so, that's one of the things I appreciate about them is the ability of if I need to step back, I'm done. I can step back for a little bit. No problem. I can pause it. I can wait. And I think for me that's been a benefit. That if there's days where I'm feeling, well, I had my one, and why would I want to keep looking at more women who I'm never gonna meet face to face? Fine, I don't need to torture myself anymore. It's like being hungry and going to an all-you-can-eat buffet without a wallet. There's no point. You're not going to get anything there. Get the hell out. Now, but that's also emotional health garbage bouncing around here from just years and years and years of life. And we were starting to veer off into some of the shadow side, the negative stuff about them. But I want to pause before there and go to this one. Have you had any good interactions or good dates? And I don't mean did you get lucky because of them. I mean, did you have any dates where you went, I had a really good time with that person. I'm never going to see them again, or it didn't match, or we didn't connect, but I really enjoyed spending time with that person. They were a cool person.
I did.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how Amber for a moment scanned the ether to find the answer and then was like, there it is. No.
Came in loud and clear.
Okay. So I think what we've established then for the people who are with us is that, look, there can be good things that occur with this. It's no different than going out to a bar to meet someone. If anything, it's maybe a little safer because you're less likely to, well, it's probably safer in and of itself just by the sheer, not as much human contact. And there are good things. There are relationships at work. It gives you opportunities. You can go on great dates or good dates. Now, let's talk about the shadow side of this real quick. Not real quick, because this will probably take a decent chunk of time. Have you had horror stories? Not horror stories, horror stories, just so we're clear. Horror, HORROR, from these dating apps. What were some of the ones where you're going, somebody owes me money for putting up with that bullshit?
Yeah, definitely. One dude made me break out in hives.
Would you be willing to talk about that one a little bit, or would you rather just
Oh my God. Okay, so here we go.
Hang on, folks, settle in. This is gonna be a ride. I hope
Hold on.
I was gonna say, do you need
are this tall to ride. Yeah, do you need do you need some more smoke courage?
It's good. She got it.
So
this story brought to you by Stizzy.
I don't know if they want to cover this one. I don't want to cover this.
But damn, now I'm like, tell. I want to know.
No, so I had went on this dating app. This is about a year and a half before I met my husband. so it was back in, say about my car, 2016. So it was like 2015-ish, right? Um, I had I had met this dude on this app. I'm trying to remember what it's called. It started with a B. But it would send like locations, like if you have ever crossed paths or if you guys are like near each other.
Oh.
Badu is what it was called, right? Well, I ended up meeting my upstairs neighbor where I lived at the time up there, and like, so it was a good situation then because I met a friend from it, right? But anyway, so I met this guy, and I thought his picture, like, I was like, God, this guy is so cute, like, just so cute, right? Well, when we met, like, everything we were talking and everything was cool, you know. This was before the whole video thing. So I'm like, oh man, I got it. I got one of the cute ones, one of the good ones. I was all excited. And all of a sudden, like before we met, and this should have been my number one, like, um, he was like, okay, well, I hope you like me. Like, don't make fun of me. His little insecurities started coming out. And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, because of how I look. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're cute. Like, okay, I should have known something was up
Was he
there.
gonna fire?
So when I meet him, he was like, well, he had told me, he's like, I got pimples and stuff all over my face. And I was like, whatever, you're just pulling my leg, you know, fucking with me. So when I met him, the man literally had like craters on his face. And I was just like, I was taken back. And I was like, okay. Like, I'm the type of person I can overlook some shit depending on who you are and your personality. I'm not like that. So we continue, we have lunch, whatever. Like, he's cool. We're getting to know each other. And then he's telling me how he has his daughter at the time, she was 2. So I was like, okay, you know, I have my kids, whatever. So then I met his mom and she was cool, whatever, and we started hanging out. Well then, I don't even know what the fuck, you guys. I swear, like to this day, I still wonder how I just woke up one day with this man in my house and his daughter, and we're all in a 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm like,
I was about to say, wait, on the first date you said you met his mama?
well, and no, it wasn't the first date. They went from, you know, just talking, getting to
I
know
was
each other,
assuming there were
dating.
details that she was
Sorry.
skipping over.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait, what? So
From the part of getting to know him and overlooking the whole crater situation and all that, like it was decent. So somewhere along that line, in a matter of maybe a month or two, I would give it. It's still a blank to me, and then given everything else that's happened in life, I don't know. I pushed it away, like so. There's only little pieces of it. But somewhere down the long line, I woke up one morning with this man and his daughter in my 1-bedroom, already fucking tight ass apartment, right? And his little one is like biting on my kids and scratching my kids and yelling at my kids and just being a little terror. And I don't even know, I lost my shit. He came back to the house and he's taking my car to work. And I'm like, what the fuck is really happening all of a sudden, right? Well, one day we're leaving and he's driving, and my my neighbor was a blood, for a gangster, for those who are like, what the hell's a blood? Was a gangbanger, and some of the guys in the building next to us also were. Well, one day they were having their little argument in the parking lot as we were leaving. So, mind you, I have 3 little kids in the back of the car and us 2 in this car. They're standing here in the parking lot arguing, and this man is sitting in the driver holding the steering going like this. I was like, what are you looking at? Well, I gotta make sure they're not fighting and make sure that they don't pop off and they don't start shooting. Well, excuse me, but if they do that, I would like to not be in this vicinity watching them. And
yeah, why are we staying here
because,
to watch this? Get the hell out of here.
right. And especially I'm like, this is their business, sir. They are gangbangers. Why
This is their business.
why do you think it's smart to sit here and stare at them?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's not smart, right? Like let's go. And he was the type that would be like driving down the street and see somebody walking like minding their business and have something weird on, and he's like, do you see that? You see with the hat on, that's so weird. Like, why are you so paranoid about everything? Like, what is really wrong with you? Like, it was really weird. Like, he didn't like hold drinking. His mom drank beer. He didn't like if I drank wine. I'm like, he didn't like this was back when I smoked cigarettes. He's like, nah, I don't like to smoke cigarettes and like I try to tell this man, like, if you're gonna be with me, you need to know what I've been through. Right? Like you should know because a lot of what I've been through explains why I am the way I am. But and it's no excuse, but it's just brought me here. But some of the things I've done, I like to share with people. Like, yes, I have had my addictive days. And I bring that up because I like to prove to myself and show myself on a daily that I've hit rock bottom and I've built myself back up. And I deserve to gloat now and then on where I'm at. I am proud of myself for how far I've come and all the shit that I've been through. But anyway, long story short, one day we're leaving, and I don't know what came over me, but I told this man, oh, his car had broke down. It was sitting on the side, and they had tagged it to have it towed and shit. And he was like talking about money and needed money. No, I'm done. I was like, you need to get out, you and your daughter. I'm taking you to your mom's house. Like, I can't do this anymore. And he sat there, and I was like, what are you doing? Like, get out. And he just sat there, like, why? Why are you doing this? Don't do that. No, you're not hearing me right now. You need to get your daughter and get out of my car. It got to the point he just, oh, you crazy bastard.
Is that him?
My scammer is calling me. No,
are you serious?
The scammer who took over my
the Facebook account guy?
Yes.
He's calling you.
Yes.
Only in America. Some shit.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get me on stuff. I'm like, go ahead. That doesn't embarrass me. You have stuff.
Wait, put him on speaker.
I declined it.
Oh shit. Well, let's have some fun.
Wow.
Hello. And then they hung up.
What a bunch of bitches.
Oh yeah. So they got my stuff, and I had some explicit photos in one of my messengers, and now they're trying to extort $500 from me. I was like, go ahead and post it. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I have no shame in that. Yeah. I look good as hell in those because I was feeling myself. So please.
There you go.
Maybe I'll start an old ladies fucking Vogue fucking Playboy magazine or something. I don't know. 35.
I mean, look how that shit worked for Kim Kardashian.
Girl, look, I'm trying to tell you. Y'all want to talk about single mothers with 2+ kids in their 30s and up are valueless? Let me show you something.
Let me show you something.
Let me show you something. No, but
Jesus, Amber. Let me show you something.
I'm just saying, like, and here's the thing. I told my homegirl the other day when I started, I was like, they're trying to get $500 from me, or they're gonna send out my naked photos. I was like, go ahead. Apparently, they've already posted them because my friend from high school. I was like, hey, if you're still friends with my page, please block it because somebody's trying to get money from me. He's like, oh, I thought you were trying to start an OnlyFans. No, I'm not, but I accept donations. Like, I'll gladly accept it. But
no, wait, you're gonna pay me for this? Oh, I don't know about that.
I'm trying to tell you. And I told my friend the other day, like, if that's how you're gonna try to embarrass me, you're only wasting your time. I can only embarrass myself, and the biggest way I embarrass myself is like falling or running into something. Those are really the only things that like actually embarrass me. Other than that,
you're good.
You can't. I lived a lifetime of embarrassment. But anyway, so my whole point was the guy wouldn't listen. He wouldn't get the fuck out of my car. It got to the point where I was yelling, like screaming at the top of my lungs at this dude to get out of my car. It got to the point I got out of the seat. I opened up the back door. I grabbed his daughter, set her on the sidewalk, and told him, get the fuck out. And I locked all my other doors. Get out. Like, I'm taking you to your fucking mom's. I don't care, but you need to leave. And then it was enough because I woke up the next morning and I had like rashes going down the side of my neck, all down my arms, and I was like, "What the hell is this?" And I went to the urgent care and I was like, "What is this? Please help me." And they were like, "Did you change your diet? Did you eat something different?" And I'm like, "No." And then she was like, "Are you under a lot of stress?" And I was like, "Oh."
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
That was my horror dating story.
Mm. I can't. Mine's not that. But it's not as entertaining either. However, Jillian, do you have a horror story or a we'll call it a bad experience from dating on the apps?
I mean, I have a bad experience to tell, but I don't know if this was a result of just dating on the apps or just the guy.
But you found the guy on the app.
I found the guy on the app. But so anyway, talking to this guy, and of course, owns his own company, and he's an entrepreneur, right? He's into construction and just this whole bravado of things, but just really nice, really smooth talker, whatever. So we agreed to go out for dinner. This was before I learned first dates should only be at Starbucks or any other coffee house or any other breakfast place or any other, just a quick meetup vibe check.
Yeah.
Don't do dinners. Do not do formal dinners. I'm gonna tell you that right now. First dates, keep it very casual. So first date, he decides that he's going to take me to Ruth Chris. So we go to Ruth Chris. And
still have never been there. I desperately want to go sometime, but have somebody else pay the bill.
There you go.
I'll put out. I will. I admit it. I'm a whore for Ruth. From what I hear, I would do it. I would do it.
Okay, Lee, I'm gonna take you to Ruth Chris in Arizona.
All right.
It's all right. That needs to be a clip right there.
Yes.
I'm Ruth Chris, getting people laid for quite some time. Sponsored by Ruth Chris.
Yes. There you go.
Oh, that is so nice of you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, he's texting. What is he saying?
I was like, you hung up on me. He's like, I'm just trying to tell you, I'll wait for you till Tuesday. Oh, well, thank you. I've been sitting here fucking with him for like the last couple of days now because it went from, just send me $500 and I won't disgrace you. It's like, ooh.
Like, what are the what are the like authority? I mean, have you gone to? I'm just curious. Like, if you went to the police or something like, like this guy's blackmailing me. Look, here's all the evidence. Like, what do they do in cases like that?
I don't know, but it's been very entertaining for me. So
they're actually, I mean, at this point, if even just from the conversation you've shared with us, there is enough that frankly it is worth going to the police and just saying, hey, here's what's going on. Here's the information. Here's what they gave me. It may be somebody overseas or some other crazy ass shit, but even if it is, it's there. And if they are able to make a connection to that person for somebody else, if it helps keep somebody else from getting scammed, it might be worth it. So
yeah, because I'm getting mad at him just on principle.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah. I was like, when they asked for $500, I was like, I don't have that. I was like, I'm a widow mom. And I was like, I have 5 kids and I have just one income. And I was like, I have $1,000 a month income and my rent is $900 alone. And he was like, well, how am I supposed to know this? I said, you hacked my Facebook. You can tell that I'm a fucking widow. Like, what is happening here? And then I ran down and I was like, I'm a widow. My rent is, or my income.
I just can't. I'm sorry.
I got 5 kids. I said I work at Wetzel's Pretzels in the mall. And then like the other day when it was Friday, I told him I got paid on Friday. So Friday came around, right? And he's like, okay, it's time to pay. And I said, no, because I told you like my bills come out when I get paid. So I gotta wait until everything clears. And then he went back and forth with me. And then at one point he was like, I'm gonna send these pictures to all your coworkers. I said, well, you don't even know where I live. He goes, yes, I do. And I said, where? He said, Wetzel's Pretzels at the mall. And I was like,
yep, I live there. That's where I live. Exactly. I live at Wetzel's Pretzels.
Yes. It's been really fun. And then
see, I want to go to your old profile now because I only know you from the Amber Empowered Facebook page. I want to go to the other one and just start having fun with that person too. Just start fucking with them.
I feel like you are dealing with a 13-year-old foreigner somewhere.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Yeah, Abby said,
oh my God.
Bringing the baby and stuff. Yeah, and at one point I was like, well, I don't have 500 just to send you. And then he kept telling me, yes, you do. Yes, you do. I know you do. Oh, look, right now they're telling me, do you understand? And then like he's very forceful, like very like you're gonna do this or
say, I understand. I'm about to go to the police with this shit. What you want?
I think you're missing another opportunity here. Oh, Daddy, I love it when you talk that way to me. Make it even.
God, I should. That's a great.
There you go. Make it. Just start playing along. At this point, like, oh yeah, please, ooh, like,
yeah. Well, you say talk really dirty to me. Talk dirty.
Yeah. I love when a guy takes charge, like shit like that. Just start see, but again, this is where I start antagonizing people, and that's what makes me.
I like when you get forceful.
This is what makes me a great wingman to stuff, though, because I'll start messing with people because it's fun for me. Anyways,
yeah, no, it's been highly, and my friend, she fucks with him too. That's been really fun.
Okay, so, you got multiple. You don't need my fuckery. You got somebody else going at it. So
like long ass paragraphs and all this stuff. It's been really entertaining. And then he gets upset when I'm like, but I can't do that because it's Friday and where I'm at, it's already 6:30. It was like 4:00. And he was like, and I was like, but the bank started to close. I said, so then nothing processes until Monday. I said, but then Monday is a holiday, so then nothing's happening until Tuesday. And I said, and then Tuesday, I got to make sure everything is cleared because I got to feed my kids then. So, and then he's like, you have the money, just send it. Okay. He goes, well, that's why I think it's okay. You can just send me $100 a week. I said, okay, but that doesn't work because now I was like, all my bills are set up.
Wetzel's Pretzels has a salary freeze. I can't get a pay raise until.
I said I live paycheck to paycheck, dollar to dollar, bro. I have 5 kids. What do you want me to do?
You told him 5 kids. You make what, $1,000 a month? Your rent is $900.
Oh man, I'm in the hole.
You tell him I should be asking you, can I borrow some money?
Oh my God. And then
you guys, can you spot me $500? I'll get it right back to you.
I should seriously post this because at one point he was like, oh, well, he's like, well, maybe I should just help you. I want to help you. I said, you're going to help me? I said, so all these pictures, I said, do me a favor. So I said, when you post them, are you going to like create an OnlyFans? Hey, boo, are you going to create an OnlyFans? I said, and how do you want to do the bank account? Like, are we both going to have access to this? Or well, how does this work? Because if I'm spending the time to do this and you're taking the time to steal them and post them, like we should both be getting paid here because you want to have this stuff. Like, what's happening? Oh,
gosh, he gets really angry to release these.
That's angry when I don't cooperate. He's like, I can tell, and I'm gonna disgrace you. And I was like, oh no.
No, but see, you should start doing what Lee did. Ooh, talking dirty to me, Daddy. Keep it. Oh, I like that.
I said, ooh,
why don't you come and disgrace me now?
I said, ooh, I love when you get forceful. He said, I'm just telling you, there's holiday tomorrow, so I'll wait till Tuesday for you.
Oh, he's
so I'm like, okay, because Tuesday is when I'll have the sexy lingerie sent to you.
Yeah.
Have it on the bed waiting for
you. Yeah, make like a fake Amazon list of all the different lingerie and other fun things and say, here, if you send me these, we can keep adding to our OnlyFans account.
He's gonna be like, what is going on here? He's gonna be like, what is going on here? What's happening here?
Okay, take your conversation to the room.
Oh, that's so funny.
Love you guys, but you're loud.
What were we talking about?
Anyways, we were talking about it's where you learned about Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, and I said I'm a whore for meat. Read into that whatever you want. And you said never have a first date as a formal dinner.
Yes, never, ever. Starbucks, coffee, keep it light, keep it simple.
Yeah, take me for a pretzel.
What else? You might wind
Yes, because Amber needs the money. Let's all go to
Wetzel's Pretzels. Come hang out. First date, baby. Wetzel's Pretzels.
Make sure you get the lemonade, okay? It's really icy.
Please buy some pretzels. I need to pay my man.
I like the pretzel bites.
Only fresh pretzels for you, baby. Freshest pretzels.
Drop that salt on it, boo. Yes, just like
that. I love that we have this recorded. I can't even tell you how happy I am that this is recorded.
And look at those what do they call those things with the hot dogs in them? A wiener.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Oh, but I don't know. They have like hot dogs wrapped in dough.
You like the little bird stuffed in the bread, don't you?
Okay. All right, let's keep going before we go down a completely different rabbit hole. That's gonna oh my! All of a sudden, Jillian's going to slow down.
Oh yeah,
slow down a little bit more.
Okay. So what is that?
So anyways, Jillian, Ruth's Chris
What
Steakhouse,
excites
don't
you?
do it.
Hey, that's perfect. What excites you
pretzels
about the prospect of dating
wieners?
Wieners exciting.
Wieners is wrapped in dough.
But lightly sprinkled with salt, please.
And smothered in butter.
So what, Lee? Let's go to you. Let's ask Lee a question.
Wait,
wait.
No, she's not done yet. Hang on.
She's got one. I gotta finish my Ruth Chris story, and then we can talk about
okay, my bad.
So we go to Ruth Chris, and he's like, because we're looking at the menu, and he's like, so what do you think you're gonna get? And I'm like, I don't know, just kind of looking. He goes, good, look. Calls over the waiter or server. Bring her whatever she wants. Appetizers, this, that, do you want a bottle of wine? I'll take a bottle of your cab, blah, 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 blah. So, he's going.
Harder.
Yeah, this is such grandiose, grandstanding bullshit. He's just masturbating himself at this point.
Right.
So,
long strokes, baby. Long strokes.
He's like, and when this bottle goes to half, looks about the bottle, you make sure you bring us another bottle of wine, right? Oh, yeah. So he's ordering whatever. So anyway, long story short, so server comes over, hands him the bill. This is him. I can't pay for this. Yeah.
What? What? I would have got up and walked out. Oh my God. Are you serious? What? Please. Oh my God.
I am stunned.
You're joking, right? He was like, no. Like, you can do math, right?
Oh my God.
And then I said, server, all the food that I ate, put on this check. Here is my card. I don't know what you're gonna do. Have a good night.
Damn. Damn.
Never again. Never. I can't pay for this.
I can't pay for this.
Oh my God.
I'm just stunned.
Like,
what did he
think was gonna happen? That I would be like, oh, it's okay, I got it? Or, oh no.
Well, why go there, bro?
Oh, why do I go there? Why order anything you want? Oh, bottle of wine, blah, 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 and this and that, and
see that and that no.
I got company is crazy. I couldn't believe I have never ever.
Okay. I get curious. I've always known that Ruth's Chris was expensive, so I went and I found their priceless. I want to talk to you about macaroni and cheese real quick. Macaroni and cheese, the thing that even if you are an adult, you still can't help but love. And it's sometimes the only thing your kids will eat. So when you have a mac and cheese, it's a creamy 3-cheese blend with mild green chilies, you realize, all right, they bumped it up. It's not Kraft. No problem. It's also should not cost $13.85 for a side of macaroni and cheese. Now, let's say you were trying to be
cognizant and aware of the price of the food you're eating, but it's Ruth's Chris, so you know it's going to be a good cut of meat no matter what you get. Let's say you get the filet, but you get the petite filet. Why? Well, you're feeling petite and dainty. So you get the 8 ounces.
Like
you're paying $47.46 for it.
Yep.
Now, hypothetically, let's say you're trying to be aware of just the calories. And so I think I'll get a salad as well too. Steakhouse salad, $12. Let's say though, you really want to prove how amazing you are. I'll take a tomahawk ribeye. Here's $135.61. Fuck right off.
Yeah, that's I just don't understand like what made him think that was gonna go any sort of smidgen of a way the way he expected it, imagined it.
Why go to Ruth? That was my thing. Why go to Ruth Chris? Why not say, can we go to Fridays?
Right. Right. And on your first date, like my husband and I used to go to Applebee's and Chili's and like stuff like that all the time. Like we probably went to our first big date, we went to a pricey restaurant. Like he was showing out in the beginning, but he had it. He wasn't about to walk in there like, oh my God. Like he knew what he was getting into. And that's one thing about my husband I was admired when he knew like a lot of money was going to be spent. He went through it beforehand. Yeah. And he had asked me, one of our last big dates we went on was to Ocean Prime. And if you guys know what Ocean Prime is,
I know Ocean Prime.
Like, okay, so it's pricey as fuck. Just for a glass of Moscato was like $25, right? And by the time we were done eating the stuff that he had ordered, and then my dish that I wanted just alone, because my husband could eat, the bill was like $400 plus. But when he came, he doesn't have those shocks on his face because that's the way he knew what to expect. He knew exactly what to expect. And we had a whole date night after that. After that, we spent like $100 at the comedy bar, and we both fell asleep.
Aww.
Drinks, but he knew, and he was capable. He had that right there. But that's the type of shit that makes me not want to even try dating, because I don't want to deal with that.
But that's also, if you think, when Lee said the horror story, that is the horror. That is the biggest horror story. Because I've had people take me to like Del Frisco's and can pay, and it's like, hey, but and it's not a big deal. But it's like, I have never, because I don't even know the flip. Like something had to be off. Yeah. Because I don't know how you think in what fairy tale world.
He thought you were gonna pay for all that.
Probably
he was Gringo Suave, and you was just gonna be like, "It's okay, Daddy, because I just want that D. Let me pay for the bill. I got you."
No. Or maybe he just thought,
which means that might have worked.
Yeah, maybe he thought, I'm just gonna go out and get a free meal. I may never see this girl again after this.
Oh,
but I'm gonna eat well tonight. That could have been what he thought, and maybe he's done that. That's how he gets his
damn.
Crazy.
I just can't. My brain is just stunned still. Like, whew, okay, like I am blown away by that.
Yeah.
So
I was, Lee.
I can tell you who wasn't blown away. That man. Anyways, moving on. My horror story is one that actually I chimed in with a little bit on our Facebook group. Melissa, who we call Eminem, had posted about phishing and scamming, and that's something that we're going to talk about in a later episode, because as a widowed group of people, we are vulnerable and we have to be aware of that. But because of that awareness and my ability to usually sniff out bullshit pretty well, I had matched with somebody on Tinder who, they had pictures of themselves that looked legit. Their story, they're in Indianapolis, which is about an hour or so, hour and a half from here. Fine, whatever. You just go to Interstate 70 and just don't get bored. And we're talking, and the information seemed to check out, but every now and again the interactions would just shift slightly. And a part of me was like, okay, this doesn't feel right. And so when it happened again, I'm like, it almost felt like a shift change. If you've ever been a server, or if you've ever been at a table and a server who you start with, and then you get another server, yes, you still get service, but it's different. That's what it felt like. And so I'm just like, all right, play along. At this point, I'm just investing silly time, whatever. So interacting with the person. And I did like a reverse image search as well, too, because I got curious. I'm like, this doesn't feel right, but let's see. Couldn't find the image. It seemed legit. So I'm like, okay, fine. Maybe it is actually taken with their phone and whatever. And I'm chatting with them, and they said, oh, hang on. I got to finish this short-term investment thing. I'll be right back. All right. You're adulting. Go adult. I don't give a fuck. Then they sent me a screenshot of money that they had made in the transaction. And it says BTC, which I immediately know is Bitcoin. And I'm like, that's what this is. But didn't ask me for any information from me. Didn't ask me for any money. Okay. Said, good job. How's the rest of your day? I didn't take the bait. Week later. Again, it's just, I'm kind of playing along, just seeing where it goes. And it's like, oh, I just saw this video you might be interested in. And it was a YouTube video of the Bitcoin market. I'm like, okay, nope, thanks, done, blocked, bye. And it was about that time, I'm like, I saw what was happening because you wanted me to start doing investing. I'm like, no, it's not happening. And the other good part that I did with any of the life insurance money was I made sure it got tied up with things for my boys for the future. So I have no access to it. Why? I can't fucking help you right now. So, so my horror story suddenly not that bad. I'm okay with it. I think it's also important to talk about, are there any elements of dating that are exciting for you? I know that you've both said to a certain degree you're backing off, and I respect that. Are there parts of it that excite you that, like, oh, this could be fun, or maybe the better question is, why do you keep going? Why do you keep trying?
Oh, Amber, I was waiting for you to go first.
Well, she's muted. I think she was yelling at somebody in the background. So she was trying to be kind to us while she, gave somebody the business.
Okay. No, then I'll go. Are you ready?
No, I was just gonna say, no, my friend is here with the baby, so the kids are all playing in the background.
Aww.
That's super cute.
It is.
I like babies. Anywho, continue.
So, I think dating it can be very exciting. I think the prospect of meeting someone new or just introducing it like a new person or a new dynamic or a new energy into your life can be exciting if that's good energy. If they're good energy, it definitely can be exciting. I think going to like different places, or once you get past your initial coffee, and if you decide you guys are going to go schedule like a real date, then I think you guys should go out and do something. So that's exciting to me because I'm like a doer. I don't like anymore the traditional, like, let's go to dinner, or let's go do something. Let's go mini golfing. Let's go go-kart racing. Let's go roller skating. Let's go do something. And that part of it is just like exciting. I remember one time I went out on this date with this guy, and he actually drove up from Augusta, Georgia to come to Charlotte. So because he was coming to Charlotte to see me, like, I picked a place, and it was a place that I'd always wanted to go to. It's called, give a plug to the House of Purge, one of the best places y'all ever go to. Seriously, in Charlotte, if you're in Charlotte, check out the House of Purge, because what we did in there, literally, it's like you go in there, they give you mask.
Oh, it's an anger room.
Yes. And you just break plates and glasses and cars, and because it's funny because he said he called me and he said on the way up he was working, he was doing business the whole way up, and he was just having a lot of stress and blah blah blah. And I was like, this is where we're gonna go then, because I didn't know really, but I mean that was so much fun. And so being able to experience different places, different things, I think that's like the exciting part about dating, because it's just a good time, even if it's lasted for that one day. Like he and I, we had a great one day. Decided like after the House of Purge, we went out to lunch and got to talking, and it came to find out, like I was still in that stage where I think it was a little bit too early for I don't know, me to be dating or getting to know. It was just I was just really still, and I always will be, but at that time I was just like, I don't know my husband, and he was like, first wife. And so it was one of those great like first dates that we were just like, this was a great day. Wish you all the best. But it was still an exciting time.
I've been sitting here racking my brain, like trying to find something that is exciting about dating. And all I could come up with was like, yeah, like doing things, right? Like going out and going miniature golfing or going for a hike. Take me somewhere and teach me something, or let's learn something together. But a lot of those things I'm finding in doing myself. And the only positive I could see out of dating is getting to know somebody else and just getting to know random people. But at that point, and again, I just speak for myself, because I think for me, I think getting to the point of 2 years, I'm angry over again that he's gone. So when it comes to the dating, I'm like, I can just do this myself. And I don't.
What do you mean by this, Amber? What do you?
I can date myself.
There it is. I wanted you to specify that because you talked about that last episode.
Myself, right? But even so, like, and now I think I'm at the point. I think this is too where when Jillian and I and Melissa are talking a lot of, because I realize my mind shifting to more focusing on self-awareness and self-love for the widowed community. I realize my conversations and my words are coming out differently. Like it's starting to show my responses are starting to leak out. So I'm becoming aware of this. So I have to be careful on what I say, because I don't want to take it out of wrong context. Like I'm not opposed to dating. I'm not opposed to people going out and doing what you do. Like whatever, you still gotta live life. But I think it's to the point where, looking at it from, I've been in a marriage, I did the dating thing, that led up to the marriage. Now I'm in a position where I am a part owner in the business. I have a community of people that I hope that they trust me and that they believe in me. And now I'm working on doing something. And the idea of having to learn a lot of people or sharing a lot of my energy out, that why, instead of doing that, why not just build a community of people and find companions and do that with like-minded people versus trying to put the energy into. And I think this is where I get stuck, because the dating, everybody has their own idea of what dating is. Right. And for me, dating is the intent to get to know somebody to build a relationship with. So for me, dating is a waste of time going out trying to get to know this person. Let me see if it works with this person. To me, I can't. Because if normally people get on my nerves within 3 months. It's a work in progress.
Look how long we've made it, Jillian. Yes, we're awesome.
Exactly.
For real. And I used to tell my
inner circle
all the time. And me and my husband used to joke about this all the time, because he was an Aries too. And he used to tell me all the time, like, I feel the same way. Like, people get on my nerves, blah, blah, blah. But somehow it took us like 3 years to get on each other's nerves, and then it just kind of escalates. So it's like, I don't want to waste that time. I would rather allow people into my circle build energies, connect with people that way, get to know each other. And if something happens to blossom from that, then so be it.
So be it.
Yeah, I think I'm just one of those ones that I'm not a dater. Anybody I've ever had a relationship with, I've come across them in a specific way that has brought us together, that led us to that relationship. I've never been a dater.
And Amber, when you say that I've never been a dater, it definitely resonates with me, but I think maybe in a different way. Like I decided to take myself out of the dating pool. And when I say that, it's like I'm not actively seeking to date. I'm not actively seeking to date. If the right person was placed in front of me and wanted to take me out, then yeah, I may not be opposed to it. But like I'm not actively seeking to date. One of the things as a widow that I realized that I had to learn how to work on for myself is actually learning how to date again, because I'm used to being someone's wife. I'm used to being, this is just what I'm used to doing. And so, to have to relearn the process, because then I think that's why a lot of times we as widowed, we get stuck. A lot of us is because we want to rush everything to get into that relationship. And I've kind of at times found myself even doing that, but it was with the wrong people. But it was kind of brought out of like, I don't know how to date. I don't know how to casual date. I don't know how to, I don't know how many times you're supposed to call a person. I don't know how many times you're not supposed to call a person. I don't know how many, because it's just, and so
pick up where you left off almost.
Yeah. Right. But the landscape is so different. But like you, Amber, meeting you, starting this venture with you, starting the venture with Lee, I just figured this is like a great time for me to kind of hit the pause button and focus on myself and what I'm trying to build and move that forward. And also because I've worked really hard. I've literally worked so hard to bring myself back to the place where my internal weather is generally sunshine. I mean, yes, I have those days where it rains. I showed you that recording the other day. Lee, you had talked about the gut punches where I was gut punched by grief. And then it was stormy and cloudy, my internal weather. And I know I don't need someone else coming into my life who's going to alter my weather right now. I don't, because what I feel like I have been called to do and given the opportunity to do here with, you all, is too important to me to get sidetracked. And I think that's where I am right now with it.
The thing that excites me, actually, it's not so much excites as the thing that keeps driving me, is one of the things I very much appreciated about my wife was being able to laugh with her, like those inside jokes, those silly jokes, those random text messages that somebody sends, and all of a sudden I'm going, or that she sends, like, yeah, and I want to have that kind of interaction with somebody. Not the same, obviously, can't be the same, but somebody who can laugh with me at the absurdity of this existence and be able to giggle and laugh. And somebody who, frankly, I can flirt with. And yeah, maybe, yes, there's a 50-50 shot, playing the odds game, for lack of a better term. But to me, those are two things, because to me, those are levels of intimacy that I really do miss. And so I look forward to having those jokes, those moments, those laughters, and little things that to me is what keeps me going. The side note of that is, although I'm interacting with people, through dating apps online, I'm fairly certain that's not where I'm going to meet someone. But again, I am keeping that one. I'm using it as a training ground because I need to, I think, prepare myself. So that's what I'm looking forward to. And that's why I keep going. Now, there's a couple things here I wanted to touch on. And they're kind of follow-ups to some comments we made. The first one is, early on, we talked about, do dating sites, as I translated it, do they devalue the importance of relationships, or do they isolate and niche market relationships so much that we miss the depth of growth? Let me explain that. There are dating websites for everything. There are dating websites, JDate, Jewish date, FarmersOnly.com. There is the Mormons have their own dating website. There is I think it's called Positive Dating for people who are HIV positive, a place where they can date. There is something to be said about going to similar minded places to find somebody. But I keep coming back to the fact that I don't think my wife and I would have found each other because I wasn't her type. It is entirely possible that these dating apps, if they are our sole approach to finding somebody, we're not going to find somebody, because they don't open us up to any possible realities. They don't open us up to any possible growth, any possible learning. And for me, I think that I want somebody who is smarter than me, so I can learn. I like learning. I like somebody to value what I say enough to then extrapolate it, apply it to different things, and then ask, have you thought about it in this way? I want that engagement. And you get that with somebody who's smarter than you. Well, obviously my wife traded down. She got dumber and larger than she wanted, which is fine. I'm not arguing. But I also make sure that I'm not necessarily closing off because maybe we have a different point of view on something. Realistically, there's only a few things that are deal breakers for me. And that is the other point I wanted to make. Whenever you do start dating again, it is important to know what your deal breakers are. Mm-hmm. To know that I will go here and no further.
And Lee, at least for me, I feel that only comes from like a place of complete wholeness, like within yourself. Like when you're not dating from the standpoint of, I don't want to be lonely, or I just want somebody, but when it's like, I want someone to enhance my life, and I know I'm going to draw that line in the sand. These are my boundaries. And yeah, if you can't, what's the word I'm looking for? If you can't respect that, if you can't abide by that, then I have no showing you the door, because I am good with being by myself. And I think that that's how, we should approach dating.
Yeah. And that to me is, those I will go here no further moments. And it's not me having like a, Gandalf from Lord of the Rings moment. You shall not pass. It's thank you for your time. I've enjoyed our chance to talk to one another, get to know one another, but I feel that this probably needs to stop here. There's certain things, and I really struggle with this part of it, and being upfront. And that, I think, is the other part of it too, is being honest, not only with yourself, but with the person, because again, this goes back to something else as well too. You don't owe anybody an explanation, but I do think we could be kind to others and say, I think I'm done here. Yeah. Why? Well, that's something on me. But I don't want you to keep investing in me if there's it just didn't feel right to do that to you.
I'm all about telling somebody why. Like, you don't have to.
You, Amber, sharing your opinion as to why you think somebody's an asshat? No.
It's not even a matter of, like, I totally agree. Like, I don't owe you a reason why. If I just feel like this is not going to work, I'm going to end this. Have a nice one. Have a great life. Like, that's that. But I think there is some sort of respect, and I think maybe if it's not even for that person, but for the next person that they come across, in the future, let them know. Like the last guy I talked to, hold on, baby. The last guy that I was talking, I don't have that right there. The last guy I was talking to, he started becoming very angry about a lot of stuff, like just grumpy about shit for no reason and making a big deal about it and on and on. And then it was almost, he was very what's the word? I want to say combative, but when I would express something how I felt, it was almost a return of, why you feel like that? That's not even right. Like, why would you even say that? That's not even what I was saying. Like, how could you? Like, why would you even think that? Like, why you're just going off the wall now? Like, it would escalate, and then it would almost like sit there watching him fight himself. And it was just like, and I told him, this is why I don't want to, and that was an issue. So it's like, I think, like, be aware of, this is why I'm walking away from you, because obviously there's an issue you have with holding relationships, and maybe somebody should tell you why you're having an issue in relationships.
Oh my God, Amber, that's funny. That's so funny that you said that, because I don't even know what to call it, but I was in this thing, right? This guy who lived out in California, and I just felt he was getting way too controlling to be, well, number one, just too controlling, period. But I mean, it's like, dude, you live all the way in California. Like, what do you mean I have to call you when I leave my house? Or just, or to tell you where I'm going, or, and so when I finally said, look, this is a bit much. I think, like, you're just a bit much. I have to just end this. And his response was, when we first started talking, I took you for a lot of things, but stupid was never one of them. This is the stupidest decision you've ever made. I wish I could find a woman, because I don't hit women, but I wish I could find a woman that would slap you across the face just because you're so stupid.
God, boy, be still my beating heart. Oh God. Oh.
What a way to win me back. Yes.
Well, when you put it that way, honey, take me now.
Yeah, what was I thinking? Ever wanting to be away from you? My God. Oh my God. Like,
do you ever get a sense you went, oh look, I just dodged a bullet? Thank you.
For real.
I had one guy try to tell, I think I was telling you guys about the one who was trying to tell me that his dad was a part of the Temptations. That his dad was that was his name, David Ruffin.
I remember Ruffin, yeah.
And I was like, sir, he died years ago. Like, how was that your daddy?
How old are you?
And then you got this white man, this light-skinned black man, but he's a white man standing next to you. And you try to tell me this is your dad. He played for the White Sox and was in the Temptations. But yet, here, and this is why you really got to listen to people, right? Because all the little finessing type nonsense. He also tried to tell me that he had all these businesses, they were about money, and that he had a house, and that me and the kids should move out there for like 6 months and test it out, and that he'd get the house ready. And as he's telling me all this, right, I'm thinking, well, why aren't you living in this house? Because you're in a 1-bedroom house with your daddy. Like, where's all the money from the Temptations and the White Sox? Like, where'd all that go? Then he had slipped in there.
Cocaine and whores.
Yeah, he had slipped in there that his daddy had done time for writing bad checks or something like that. So I was like, oh, okay. And then
David Ruffin.
Right. And then as he's telling me that me and my kids should move in with him in Washington, DC nonetheless, and that, they can go to school out there, he's filling up the bathtub with hot water that he's boiling on the stove.
For heat. Oh, damn.
So I'm like, I'm watching this and listening, like,
none of this makes any fucking sense whatsoever.
I was in one of those weird states at the time, and my brain was like, oh look, he looks like your husband a little bit. There's long hair. That's all my brain focused on. And was like, oh, look, he sounds and looks like Prince. That's all my brain was focused on. Then one day he started talking and my brain was like, wait, bitch, something is not adding up here. Pay attention. I was like, oh, this weirdo here. And he's out in Washington and did the same thing. I don't want to see my girl drunk on social media. And my girl don't need to do this. And my girl and my woman this. I'm not, that's a good thing I'm none of those. Like, that's why I just date myself.
There are moments again where I hear of more than a few stories of men doing shit like that, and all I keep thinking is, why do women like us? We are fucking idiots at our best. Just God, we're dumb. Like, at what point does any guy think that's gonna work? Now, this is an ongoing discussion we've had. I don't know if it's going to play out here, but I will say this one piece of advice for any man on a dating app. Don't be a dickhead. Listen, anyone who's attracted to you being an asshole is not somebody you want to be around. Yeah, maybe it'll feel good for a minute, but I got to tell you, if you're a widowed person on here and you think being an asshole is what's going to attract the woman or the next person or the whatever, I absolutely promise you, you have a better chance of winning the lottery 3 days in a row than you do of getting a good relationship from somebody who is attracted to you because you treat them like shit. The reason the book 50 Shades of Grey is bullshit is because that shit don't happen. It's called a fantasy. Don't let your fantasies prevent you from being a real fucking person.
Amen.
So I think that's a pretty good.
And stop love bombing people.
Oh Jesus, that we'll get. Yeah,
That's
we'll talk about that. We've talked about that before. That's a rant.
I know, but if you're gonna talk about being an asshole, you gotta.
Oh, yep. Yeah, don't be Cupid.
Either,
be
because they're both
you.
really asshole moves.
Yes, they are.
Like,
yes, they are.
My thing is, don't spend the time to get to know someone. Try to make it seem as if you want something with them, special with them. If you know in your hearts of hearts, that's not where you are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do it. I mean, you know, it's crazy because don't get me started, because everybody preaches this transparency stuff.
None of us got you started. You got yourself started, sister. No, this is literally.
I know there are certain things that I will.
A philosophical masturbation is what you're doing.
I don't need hype people. I can hype my own damn self up.
Apparently, except for that pelvic floor, but that's a whole nother conversation. Anyways, keep going.
Yes. So, damn it, now you make me lose my train of thought. No, but everybody wants transparency, and nobody's transparent.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's the thing that kills me so much. How are you going to have something real if it's built on fake? Like, I'm just saying, like, and that is the one thing that I'm finding more and more and more in this new dating era is people are just not as truthful as I'm not going to say as they used to be, but it's just, I don't know if it's technology is giving them new ways to lie, but I mean,
dating is like Fox News. They will lie and tell you the truth all in the same sentence.
It's like most news. Like I look, I admit that I'm not a Fox News fan. I'm aware there's people in our group who probably are. Let's not get political about it, but let me be very clear. Anybody who has advertisers, whether it's CNN, Fox, doesn't matter. They're both lying and telling you the truth at exactly the same time.
Honestly, and I just say Fox just because that's the biggest. But like, if you pay
attention, they are the ones who got in trouble recently.
all the time. But I'm just saying, like in general, like everywhere you watch, they all have the same fucking script. Like they're all telling the same thing. And just listen to 2 sentences. You will get 2 truths and 2 lies.
Otherwise known as Tinder.com.
But no, it's just, and that could be a whole other show in itself. Like why can't we just be us? Like, why are people so scared nowadays to just be them and do the right fucking thing?
Right.
Even like, the guy who's got your stuff and he's holding it hostage. Fuck you. What
I have
makes
something
you
fun
think?
for that as a conclusion, by the way. I made something really fun for
I
that.
would have been like, fuck you. What makes you think that you could just take my pictures and like why can't you go out and get a job? I work hard. You work hard for your money with your 5 kids at Wetzel Pretzel. Damn it. Like, what the fuck are you doing but sitting back and asking people for money? I mean, like, who the hell are you? Who, like, what makes you think you don't have to work like everybody else?
No, I don't budget for scammers. It doesn't work that way.
I don't budget for scammers.
I don't have a side account that says, make sure I throw, 10% of my every paycheck in here. So
To your scammer fund?
Just in case. Yes.
When some asshat decides wherever the fuck he's sitting in his mama's basement or in some fucking bomb shelter somewhere that you decided that you want to take my stuff. I know I'm cute, man. Just send me some money and say thank you. Why do you have to do all this? I'm sitting here telling you I got 5 kids and I work at Wetzel's Pretzels. What makes you think I got an extra $500?
To give you.
Talk about, well, there's people out there that are wanting your pictures. Okay, they can come to me and directly get them for me if they want and if they pay. But, this is just...
I'm sorry, Amber.
You're not going to embarrass me. If you post on my naked photos, and go ahead. Please do.
It's just entitlement. It's this fucking entitlement. Why do you feel so entitled?
My cash app is #, AMCSAT. Please send it my way.
Well, thank you, Amber, for that. But I just wanted, I'm sorry. It just really gets me angry. Like, what makes him feel so entitled to get your hard-earned money? Like, why? Like, honestly, because you're a bad person. That's why.
Because he ran out of Cheetos. He needs more Cheetos.
Yeah, those flaming hot Cheetos don't show up on their own.
Yeah, that Mountain Dew,
Aside from this beautiful rant at the end, which I don't want to interrupt, but I also recognize that prior to that beautiful rant, we were probably near the end. And so I was going to do the closing, but before I do, I wanted to see if there's anything else, Jillian, Amber, that you wanted to offer for the that we maybe didn't talk about, or maybe you wanted to highlight one more point before we go. And then I'll do the closing, then I'll show you the gift I made for Amber Scammer.
I would just say, do your own work first before you start dating. To all my widowed, and make sure that you're coming into the dating site from a perspective of wholeness, not from a deficit of needing someone because you're lonely. Because I think loneliness is uncomfortable and it fucking sucks at times. It sucks ass. I mean, we've all been there. Lonely, it's horrible. And so it's no wonder why so many of us try to avoid it at all costs by jumping into dating and being on these dating sites and trying to find someone because we just don't want to be lonely. And I think that when we do that, we open ourselves up to settle. We open ourselves up to miss red flags. We open ourselves up. So when you get ready to date, just make sure that you as a widowed have done your work and just go into it from, like Lee said, you draw that line in the sand of what your expectations are and you stick with them and you hold fast to them. And if that means you have to be alone for a little bit longer, you know what? So what? And if that means you like Amber said, date yourself. Like, seriously, get to know yourself. Honestly, what you want, what you need. And because being a widow, I mean, we are new people. We are different people. We're not the same people that we were before our spouse died. We're different. And we need to get to know this new, different person who has a new, completely, probably different set of needs. Don't rush it.
Miss Jackson.
If you nasty.
Sorry.
Oh, that's I need
that's,
to put that sound in that.
Oh my gosh,
That's it.
We need that sound bite every time we open. Oh no, Lee, you got to figure that out. You got to make that.
Right.
You got to make
a note.
Yes.
I would just say, to follow that. I get that dating is fun. I get, there's a rush to it. I get that it does momentarily fill the cup of need. But I would really like to see more people date themselves and get to know yourself, because looking at it, even from my own experiences, I don't think we really fully understand what relationships really consist of, because we tend to give up our entire self to serve the other person. And some of us wind up in a hole or, left empty. But I think when it comes to dating, like, it's okay to still look for that and date with intention, but know what you have to offer and know further besides the superficial what it is that you're looking for. Of course, and here's the biggest thing. Stop looking for people to carry your baggage with you. Stop looking for a reason to date because you want somebody to go through your struggles and your hard times with you. Like Jillian said, find somebody. You should be at the point of a relationship where it just shows up. Because when you're looking for it, it's not gonna work out. You're gonna set aside some boundaries. You're gonna set aside some requirements just for that. Oh, well, I want it. I'm lonely in this aspect, but this person refills it a little bit more here. You're willing to give and take a little bit more, and you really shouldn't be doing that when dating. If I get into a relationship, I'm going because I know that at the end of the day, no matter what happens in that 24 hours, me and that person are going to be solid. There's going to be communication in there. I'm going to be able to do my things. He's going to be able to do his things. He's going to teach me something in that day. I'm going to maybe teach him something in that day. Somewhere by the end of the week, we're going to be coming together and be like, damn, look at all the things that we accomplished together this week or this month. Looking at things like that. I don't want to wind up in a relationship because I just gave up some of my needs because I was lonely, and then wind up dating somebody who wanted to take me to some steakhouse or sushi place and can't pay the fucking bill, and he's surprised by the shit his goddamn self. Yeah. Right? You know what I mean? Like, no, you should, and that's all a part of doing your own work. I get people get lonely, but here's the thing. Being lonely and being alone are two separate things where people really need to understand. And when you're alone, that's the time to get your house cleaned up, start a puzzle, finish the book, start the book you've been wanting to, pick up a new hobby, take a bath, do something.
And when you're bath, wash your nasty ass.
Something. No, get that toe jam. But all I'm saying, and then when you're in a state of lonely, when you're like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? That's the time where you need to go build relationships with friends. That's the time where you need to build companionship. Go get your best people together and be like, you know what? Let's book a weekend trip. You don't have to just jump into a relationship to fill those voids, because those are just surface band-aids that are not waterproof, and they're just going to come off the moment one little tear drops, because then the shit's going to drop. So I really just urge people, again, I'm not against dating. I'm not against love. I know it may sound like that. I'm just at a point where, especially for us widowed, we have the opportunity to decide the path we want to take. Mm-hmm. We are no longer, yes, we have children, but when it comes to, my focus now is not on my husband's journey. My focus now is not on what my husband's dream was. I get to decide now what it was. Why do I want to take this time now to go redo the whole process of trying to get to know somebody getting to know me? I got to relive my story now. Now I got to do this, and I got to take the time to get my kids to know that. And all meanwhile, this person's a psycho, and you did all that for nothing. Now you got to start all over again. all that energy, all that hurt that you're gonna go through, do that same thing with yourself. Because even though it hurts, it's so worth it. Because when you come out of that and you like, damn, all the shit I've been through, look at how much I've grown myself. You can really sit down and say, this is what I like. This is what I don't like, without hesitating, without stuttering, with full conviction of this is who I am and this is what I want to do. And I'm going to go do it unapologetically and I'm going to live my life in full fucking color. And anybody who gets blinded from it, well, you need to turn away. That kind of life. And then when you get to that point, that's where those relationships just naturally come into play. They just naturally flow to you, because that's when God, the universe, whatever your higher power believes in, can see that you've done your work, where you're going to be able to go into that situation wholeheartedly and fully focused on what's going on, instead of focusing on, oh my God, this baggage over here, I didn't clean it out, it's so heavy, please help me clear out stuff from my grandmama's auntie. All that, exactly. Let it go. Drop that baggage off. And that's all self-work. So I just wish people would do that a little bit more, versus trying to find somebody to go through it with them, because you're just adding, y'all is moving into a jam-packed storage unit together. That ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work.
You take you with you wherever you go. And if you don't do that work, yeah.
In case anybody was wondering, Amber has definitive opinions, and she will gladly share them no matter what. And I will say this much. She's absolutely correct. There's nothing I'm going to be able to add to what Jillian and Amber have said. I don't see any deficiency from what they've said. I don't see any gap that they've left open. The only thing I want to say to those listening is this. The point of us sharing these thoughts, these opinions, these stories, is not to say that our way is the right way. We want you to be able to engage in whatever aspect of your life you're engaged in with intentionality. It's a fancy word of saying you give a damn about yourself, that you actually care enough about yourself to value yourself.
Yes.
There are so many opportunities in this world where you can define your value by your stuff, by your people, by your relationships, by the car, by the bling, by the whatever. That's not going to matter. If you're choosing to get back into the dating world, good luck. But please know, you're going to get pissed. You're going to be annoyed. You're going to be frustrated. And you might find an amazing person to be with too. No matter what happens, be intentional with who you are. And if you're hurting and you're afraid and you're alone and you just want contact for one night, that's fair. Own that. Own that. Don't let guilt from previous teachings, previous relationships get in the way of you trying to clear your head and to clear your space for what's coming next. And with that, I will close our time together with doing two things. One, I'll do a little bit of an ending here, but then I have a 27-second treat that I'm going to show you all, that this will go, because you went along with the ride. Amber shared with us about her scammer. So I made a little treat for her scammer, something from us to support her. But before I get to that, this has been the Chrysalis Podcast, swearing and grief and shit and fuck and damn and all the things you want to say, but you can't. Maybe it's because you can't because of where you're at. Maybe it's because you can't because of how you're feeling. But please know that whatever you're going through, this hellscape, this time of feeling alone and isolated, we're here for you and with you. Let us walk with you, and we'll do all that we can to support you and to nurture you so that you can be who you desire to be, not as a great self-help tool, but as somebody who has overcome shit that nobody should have to go through. Thank you for being with us. And now, as a gift to you all, here is a gift for Amber's friend.
Yes. Love it.